funeral parlours bylaw, we need to have generators on site. Yes, but remember that the undertakers are not manufacturing the generators, and we buy them, and they've got a specification of maybe lasting us for up to 8 hours. But now the load shedding as it happened now, the intervals, the intervals are, it cuts for more than 2 days, sometimes the whole day, sometimes twice a day it cuts. Like for instance, you go 8 hours a day, then it cuts for 2 hours, then it cuts again for another 8 hours. So now that puts a strain on the electricity and in our mortuaries and also in our in our generators. So now it is important that we ask the families that if they want their bodies to be buried in a good closure and a good decent, at least within the 4 days, those who can, we ask them to bury their loved ones. Because of now, the heat that is happening now, and the generators, the electricity is very bad.
So just how long do the fridges keep the temperature cold for? I'm wondering because, as I mentioned, that some businesses don't own generators, even though I believe that this is a condition for opening such a business.
In relatively being honest, our mortuaries can keep the bodies within 2 hours, 3 hours without electricity. But now, if it goes for more than 8 hours or 2 days in a row without it, because there's no sharing differ from one municipality to another and one province to another. But most provinces, they get a very long cut-off of electricity. So now this brings strain to a generator where it wants to be serviced more often. Okay. And obviously that comes with a cost, the cost of servicing the generator and the more cost of fuel that we put in the generator with. So that brings a strain in the undertaker itself. If it was possible, we would check to say maybe the government should come with the refund of some cost, because of now neither the consumer or the undertaker have caused this negligence of electricity. It all comes from the negligence of the government, not from the consumers, not from us, the undertakers.
Okay, before we get to the issue of compensation, I want to understand decomposition. When does it begin? Because for somebody who's not in the industry, when they imagine this, and obviously, God forbid, it is more an issue of a smell, that sensory aspect. But I believe when the body starts decomposing, you can see it on the skin. As an industry insider, when does it begin? When do you start getting worried when you haven't had electricity? Because you say your fridges can go on for at least about 2 hours and at the most 8 hours. But at what point does decomposition begin?
It's unfortunate that it is not one blanket fits all. Some people, they die of different comorbidities like your high blood pressure, your diabetes, and etc. Those bodies, they react differently to other natural causes of the bodies. The ones that die with high blood, they sometimes bleed. Even if they are dead, they will bleed. So that if there is no cold, obviously the bleeding will produce a smell quickly. Unlike a body that died of natural cause, except the comorbidities, maybe died of age-related causes and some other sicknesses. But
and I understand
it's very quick.
Some businesses are saying
like I want to say, other bodies from government mortuary, they come bleeding already from government mortuary. Because remember, any other body that died of unnatural cause, it must undergo post-mortem. It's a bylaw of that. So we receive those bodies already bleeding. So now you understand that blood gets smelled quicker, even if when it's exposed outside of the fridge.
So I understand some business owners are saying, even though people know that there's load shedding and that this impacts on their businesses. Some of them have been in a situation where they've handed over bodies that are already decomposing. And obviously those customers don't understand. But I understand that bodies can be embalmed, particularly if they've got a long distance to travel, say, out of the country. How long does that keep decomposition, irrespective of the cause of death, for instance?
Embalming, embalming, when you embalm the body, you don't need a refrigeration because you can embalm the body and just put it there. Like in the School of Science where they do like mortuary science, where they deal with dead bodies, like your medical schools. They embalm those bodies and they can do the studies with their bodies for months without the bodies being exposed in the fridge because of their embalmed. But now the disadvantage of the embalming, it comes with a high cost. Remember, it must be done by a well-professional medical student who embalm their body and they don't need a fridge. And then but now, that cost will be almost twice the amount of the burial and then to charge the people. Like in other countries, like in US or neighboring countries in Zimbabwe, Kenya, it is a bylaw that when you receive a body in the mortuary, the body must be embalmed. But however, who pays the cost of the embalming is their government. In us, we are standalone. I mean, we need to charge it to the client, to the customer, the embalming cost. And it's going to, that is why we want to reduce the number of the people that can stay, the corpse, that can stay in the mortuary. That is why in maximum is our 7 days, 2 weeks, then we do bury. But in other countries, they can stay a month and then they bury the following month. Because the bodies, when they receive them, they embalm them.